We drive Lambos, we drive jet skis.
Dune buggies.
It was fucked. And then what also happened in Dubai, it was my birthday. I was 21 and I remember it was the first time I was working online. We woke up, we went for a run club, we held a run club in Dubai. We did the mastermind, we went on the yacht, we went on the jet skis. I also closed a client that day. And I remember I was sitting in Dubai and I was just like, this is fucking peak. We have built our business from zero and our social media from zero to now both having over 50,000 followers and just hitting our first $50,000 month and starting the business only 3 months ago. This is the first month of us having everything together. We are on track to do 100K.
At the start, I was stressing out, but then I was like, the pressure of knowing you had to make it work and there was no one else to fall back on, that's what did it. And we needed that pressure. We got super complacent having the retainer. We weren't putting as much effort into content. We're like, everything's chilling. And having that change made us realize that we need to dial in and there's so much more we need to be doing to succeed. And so we did. Welcome.
How to build your dream life. As cliche as it sounds, we're here today to explain how we went from zero to now living in Gold Coast.
Or living everywhere.
Living everywhere.
We live everywhere.
We get so many questions and people ask us. And I think it's time we address how in 365 days we have built our business from zero and our social media from zero to now both having over 50,000 followers and just hitting our first $50,000 month and starting the business only 3 months ago. So we're gonna explain how we've got from zero to 50,000. That is the title of the video.
Yeah. How we got from zero to $50,000 within 3 months of a new business and how we've both grown over 50,000 followers in under a year of content creation.
So how do we meet? That's the question that everyone asks me.
Yeah, everyone's always wondering how we actually got connected. It's a funny story because me and Jake actually grew up in the same area but didn't know each other. Like, I come from a small area of like Sydney's northern beaches, and Jake lives in a place called Avalon. I live in a place called Collaroy. You probably don't know what those are. I didn't know he existed. All I knew one day is that someone else told me that he made content. I was in the gym. Sammy Johnson. Shout out Sammy Johnson if he's watching this. He came up to me in the gym because Sammy goes to my gym and he was like, yo, there's somebody else who's making videos and trying to do a similar thing to you. And at the time, there was no one else. Like, I literally had no one else. Like, a few of my friends knew but didn't make any content.
And you were at like what? How many followers?
I think I was at like 400?
Bro, I think it was even less. I think I was at 400. I think you were at like 100.
There's like 100 followers at the time. Like, I had no traction, no validation for the videos. It was the start of the dream, really. And of course, after I got told that someone else was doing the same thing, as like nerve-wracking as it was like, I need to connect with a completely new person because it could be the start of something huge. So.
Yeah, and then I remember, Sammy was like, let's go hit him up. I was like, okay, sweet. Because I remember I had no friends that were doing this. I had a couple mates who were creating like similar videos to me. Shout out Zach Abbas. But he stopped, he dropped off. And then me and Reed, I hit him up and I was like, yo, let's go Bondi. Because at the time, Alfie, who we'll get into the journey of Alfie in a second, but he was both like a big inspiration to us. And so we were like, all right, let's go Bondi, hit the bars in Bondi, film some gym content, run around. And that's where we met our friend Jack Webster. But I remember I got up at 4 a.m., never meeting Reed, going to his house, and it felt so natural. It was so weird. We like rock up and I was like, yo, what's up, G? Nice to meet you. 4 a.m. in the morning, out the front of his house, he's like, let's go Bondi.
We were about it at the time. We were about it. It was the weirdest like first meeting of anyone. Like legit, 4 a.m., like I'm tired as shit. I'm like getting up and meeting this dude for the first time just in my driveway, and we just packed it straight to Bondi. Yeah,
we did. And then we went to Bondi and I remember we met Jack Webster at the time. Shout out Jack, he's been like a big part of our journey as well. And that's when we also met Alfie for the first time. I didn't actually have the guts to go up to him, I remember you guys went up to him and I was like, fuck, I'm too nervous to go up. But then after that, I remember over that was like a good indicator for me because I remember I met Reed, I met Jack, and I saw Alfie and everybody, and I saw the content kind of what was possible because it made me see really like-minded individuals. And I realized, holy shit, I'm not the only person alone in this. And that's kind of when it like kicked off.
Yeah.
And then from there, you went to Bali. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, so after making content for a while in, the northern beaches where I lived, I decided that I want to make a drastic change because I felt like my job, like my circle, just my surroundings and routine, in all honesty, was keeping me in the exact same spot. And like, I realized that the most drastic way I could make a change is just remove myself from literally everything possible. So like left the job, like left any relationships I had, left uni, left my family, like just left everything and booked a one-way flight to Bali because I knew over there it would only be the chance to win, right? It was all in at that moment because I had nothing else but making content, trying to grow my personal brand and changing my life. So I booked it over there. I was fortunate enough to meet some people. Not at the start. I was going through a few weeks alone, which was definitely tough in a new country. But then another integral part of both Jake and I's journeys, I met up with someone by the name of Finn Kwong.
Shout out Finn.
Yeah, big shout out. Shout out
only
Finn.
earned owner.
Only earned owner. It's cooking right now. But yeah, Finn played a big role in my journey, especially at the start. Like, we ended up staying together in a villa for, I think, almost a month in that first period. He taught me so much about, you know, just the whole online business space, like content, personal branding, like everything I needed to succeed. It really gave me the foundations of what I needed at the start. And from there, it was just about building. I had the consistency. I had it back home. Before I left, I was posting every day, and I think that's such an important thing to do. If you guys want to start out in content, you have to be consistent. You have to post every day. It's just the minimum barrier of entry. So I was doing that.
What was your day? Because I remember because at the time I was still posting on my content as well, but I wasn't like, it wasn't doing as well. I remember Reed had a few videos, but what were you doing? I remember you were waking up, fucking content all day, every day.
I was doing content all day, every day, because I didn't have a business at the time. There was no business.
Yeah.
So it was just straight pump out as much content as possible. I think I was posting 3 times a day or so.
Yeah.
Like 3-4 times a day at times, because I knew that was the fastest way to grow my brand to a point where I could have a business or have the opportunities. And nothing was clear for me at the start. Like, I had no idea what skill I wanted to monetize or anything. And having a passion for fitness and still obviously putting fitness out on my personal brand, I naturally gravitated towards wanting to do fitness coaching. So that was my first online business, fitness coaching, which Finn obviously helped me with the start. Just spamming out content, fitness related, health related, lifestyle related.
Yeah. I was doing the same as well. I remember, and then I was at university studying business, just low-key trolling. And then I was also working in a marketing agency, and I remember seeing Reed post all this content, and it was doing well, and I remember I was heaps about it as well. But me and Reed weren't that close then. Like, even though we met up, we were still close, but when you start out, and what I've come to realize is like about a year ago, like I was just like, I'm still very selfish today, like other than like prioritizing my friendship with Reed and our business, like I still really push myself forward. But I remember before that, I was like, no, I'm a solo man. I'm a solo journey. No one's gonna get me there other than myself. And I remember seeing Reed, and we didn't really connect that much because we were both so on our journeys. But then when I saw he was really cooking, we kept in contact, and he was like, yo, come over to Bali. And I pitched it to my work at the time. I was like, look, I want to work online. Can I go? And my work that I was working for, the marketing agency, was like, yeah, sure. I was making $430 a day. Jack fucking shit. I mean, a week. Literally $430 a week. Literally like pennies. And I went over, quit university or deferred university, took that job over, and that's when we linked back up in Bali with the first crew.
We did. Urban and Charles. It feels like so long ago now, even though it wasn't. Like, it was only like not even a year ago. That was a crazy villa. That was one of the most fun periods ever of like figuring everything out, just doing fun shit, like swimming, gymming, filming content, but obviously still having no idea what we're really doing.
A lot of just unproductivity. Like I remember we went there, and the good thing about Bali, and I think this is why everyone needs to go to Bali if they are pursuing content, is because if you don't have a tripod, if you aren't filming content, you're low-key looked at like you're not it.
Everyone's filming over there.
Everyone's there. So
it's completely different.
Yeah, and it was the first time ever that I felt like, holy shit, like I feel so like-minded. I feel so surrounded. And again, even though we all lived in a villa, I remember I was still like on my own journey. Like even though I was around Reed and Urban and Charles, like I still wake up, do my own thing, really hustle the own thing. And I think like that was good and all, but now I look back at it, I definitely wished I like environmentally like surrounded myself more and more. But I think it was definitely pivotal to like kind of the next stages. Cause like we're in Bali for how long?
I think a couple months at that stage.
Couple months. And I remember Reed at this time when boom, you were shooting up. Like how many followers were you at?
My growth journey has been, actually wait, I need to pull my shit out and then I'll talk about my growth journey. That's a good point to.
What?
Just wait, I need to stop the oven before I burn the house down.
Oh.
I'm coming back. The camera can still hear me. I don't know if anyone can hear me right now. The thing, I am getting my chicken out of the oven because you got to prioritize not burning the house down, guys. Even for a podcast. Even for a podcast, guys, we can't burn the house down.
Yeah.
They can still hear me right now. All right, we're back. We're back. My growth journey. Mine was strange. Not strange, but most people have these videos that really bring in a lot of followers. They'll take home run videos, like great storytelling videos about their life and their challenges. And for me, mine's been more consistent. It was just a slow and linear growth path upwards of like certain periods where I was getting like hundreds of followers a day, and then it went down to like, in the tens, like 5 followers a day. But for me, it was always consistently up. Like I was always bringing some followers in, but there was lots of variation and like fluctuation in where they were going. But it was a fairly steady path for me at the time.
How many followers are you at though?
At the time?
Yeah. Like when we were leaving Bali, that first time round. Because we've been to Bali multiple times, but this was like the first time I went. Like when,
I think
15K?
Around like, I think it was like 13K.
Yeah, and
13K.
I remember I was at like 4K. And then Reed and stuff you went to Barcelona. Reed got into the Amplify.
No, this was Bali first. I went to Bali first. Like the Bali Amplify Villa.
Oh yeah. No, this is, because I came to Bali after that.
Yeah.
For everyone that doesn't know, Reed also was now in Amplify, which is Alfie's thing. And he was starting to evolve himself around those creators, I remember as well.
I was very fortunate. For like 3 months after making content, there were people who I was looking up to, like, okay, I want to make content like them. I want to be around them. People like Noah Alert, Alfie, Zidane, Fonzian, like a bunch of those guys. And I was like, I need to make content like them. I need to do similar life stuff to them. And 3 months after making content, I was around them in a villa, but that's a whole story for another time that I'll break down on a different video. But
yeah,
crazy time. And then obviously we were in the Bali Villa together after that.
Yeah, we were in the Bali Villa, but then you got invited to go to Europe to go with them. And that's when we disconnected. And we were starting to become a bit closer in that time. So this was like maybe 3-4 months into the journey. We were living in Bali together. But then Reed went off to Barcelona with Ned Wagner.
Ned Wagner.
Shout out Ned.
Ned, the Amplify Barcelona house, obviously with a bunch of amazing creators again, like Noah and stuff were there. We got the Raw Dog Boys, Alfie, Zidane, Steph Ways, Alex Boyset, Alessio. That's where I met Alessio for the first time. He was a sick guy. Big shout out Alessio.
And then I remember I was like, okay, the boys are splitting up. I was already on my journey, but I was like, this is me. I remember I was at like 4K followers. My account was picking up, and I started this series to grow my followers to like 50,000 followers. I remember I was really putting myself out there. It was really like a cringy time of my life, but also I was like really trying to go after it. And I remember I was like, okay, if I really want this, I need to go isolate myself. I need to really do the content on my own. I was definitely getting a little bit distracted by the people around me, and I was trying to work and I was trying to do content. And it wasn't really working. I was just kind of fading it off and just doing content. But I remember I went to Uluwatu and I stayed in this place called Uluwani. Shout out to fucking Uluwani. It is the most locked in destination. Anyways, I remember every day I would get up at 4:30 to 5 every single day. I would do 2 hours of content, then go do fasted cardio, come home, eat breakfast, rest of the day content, 5 to 6 p.m. I would train, rest of the day content. And I did that for a 2-week period. And on the 4th day, before I was going home, I posted this one video. And I remember I got sick because I burnt myself down and I was like, gonna post this video, but I had to wait. So I edited a bit more and I posted this one video. Overnight, I remember I went from 4K to 10K, the next day from 10 to 20K. And I remember that is when the journey begun. That is when everything started. I remember in 2 days, I grew 20,000 followers. And I was
so wild.
I remember when that happened, it was the most intense period of my life because I was trying so hard for this goal. I remember I put everything out online. And to be full honest, like you could say, I was probably working like the hardest.
Oh, 100%. Like I thought I worked hard, but like seeing someone trying to catch you and like really reach the next level, like Jake started going crazy. And like he was going crazy before this video hit, which is what a lot of people didn't see. Like a lot of people saw his viral video, like blew him up from, where he was at 4K to like literally 20, 30K in a matter of weeks. Like he was making one of those videos with that much quality every day for like, I think like 20 something days.
Yeah.
And then that one finally hit and it was just like the biggest explosion ever. And I wasn't even there at the time either. I was in a different, I was in Barcelona.
Reed wasn't even there. And I think that really solidified my message because at the time my message was like proving anyone can grow online by being real. And as soon as that video hit, it hit off a video that was like really storytelling, really correlated to my story. And I remember it had like 500,000 views, which wasn't even that many, but it was like 22,000 followers, which was like, I don't know, like a 20% conversion to every follower. It was fucking nuts. That's when my journey really started because previous to that, I was doing a little bit of fitness coaching, made my first like 8K, 10K, I think, from fitness coaching, which was crazy to me. But then I remember I did that and that's when I reached out to Amplify. because I actually joined Amplify like 3 weeks prior to it. And when I joined Amplify, I told Alfie, I was like, look, I don't really need Amplify. I'm only here to chat to you. And it was kind of like a strategic move for me. And I literally said to him, look, I'm going to blow up. Like, that's how confident I was in making social media. I said, when I blow up, I want a job opportunity. And that's what happened. When I blew up, I reached out to him, he said, sweet, let's jump on a call. And he gave me a job. And that's when I got my first retainer, which was $5,000 AUD. I remember you were on a retainer as well. How much were you on?
I was on 4 at the time.
4 at the time. And that is when me and fucking Reed really, I would say, connected. Now, it wasn't that we weren't connecting before, but the reality was is like, when you're trying to pursue something so hard, if someone's not on your level or not above you, you're not giving them any time. And the reality is it wasn't that Reed and I weren't friends at all. It's that I wasn't at Reed's level yet for him to like give me the time, but also I didn't really want to associate and chat because like I was on such a hard journey myself. But now that my account was pumping, I remember I had brands reach out to me. I remember I had Alfie offering me money. I remember like it was crazy. It all happened overnight. I was like, holy shit, I need to connect now with guys that are who are going to level me up even more. And that's when I think me and Reed's friendship really like took off. And it sounds like it's all just run off money and values. But the reality is like when you are looking for an individual, and this is why I think a lot of you like may be a little bit lost in finding your circle. You can't expect the person that you're trying to find your circle to come down to your level. And the reality was I was below Reed at the time. And because I rose up and he saw like the effort that I was putting in, it wasn't that I was buying his friendship, but it was like, now I see the relationship between like giving value to the table. And that's what I was giving. I was giving value to the table.
Like, it sounds brutal, but like it isn't. Like, the way you want to think about it is like, you are so focused. Like I was so focused on my individual goals. So it's like, yes, of course, like I'll give someone the time of day, like I'll go hang out, I'll give some content advice. But at the end of the day, my main focus was my goals. So I only wanted to be surrounded with people who helped me achieve my goals. Like, to some points that could sound selfish, but in all honesty, I don't really think so. I think that focusing on your goals is the most important thing you can do. It's the most fulfilling thing in life. So finding somebody who then fits into your goals, whether they finally jump up to that level or they've been there a while, the most important thing is when you find them, you keep them around. And then when they reach that level and you feel like they can help you, you just stick with it, you hustle together, and then you push each other. But you have to reach that level. Like, finding the circle is difficult, and you have to become the person who deserves the circle. You can't just wish your way into it. You can't just be like reaching out to all these big creators. I mean, I'm sure you could, and some of them might, but a lot of them are focused. A lot of people run businesses. A lot of people have lives and their own goals they want to achieve. And if you're going to take away from their goals, that's not a very valid reason to be involved. So you got to hustle yourself, get yourself to that point, and then you'll be surprised at how many people come to you. You won't even need to do the outreach.
That's correct. That's right. And then from there, I remember I went home and it was a bit of a shock. I remember I went so hard at this dream and I was like, okay, sweet. I've kind of solidified myself. I didn't come back a failure. My parents now gave me a little bit more support because my parents didn't really like know what I was doing at this time, so they were a bit confused. But then I remember we were both working for Amplify at this time and we were both living it ourselves, but we did start hanging out a lot more. We did start becoming a lot more closer because we work together now, but we were also really both we're on the same level on content. And I remember this was kind of like a bit of a pivot point where we started working together, started getting closer and closer. And I remember then I started to realize, oh, hold up, like maybe Reed is like very, very different to like what I first expected. Like, I have never met someone to this date on the exact same level, if not above me. Like this morning, we wake up, Reed, I'll go outside, he'll be sitting there 5 a.m. and I'll get up at 5:30. Then the next day I'll go, okay, sweet, I'll get up at 5, he'll be up at 4:30. And the reality is like, that made me realize, holy shit, this is the first time in my life that I've like seen and met somebody that's on the same level. And I think from there, that's kind of like where we just like really, our journey started. And then where did we go from there? We go back to Bali? We went back to Bali.
We went back to Bali.
We went back to Bali. That is right. And this, I would say, was the most pivotal trip. We've had like layers of Bali. We came to Bali, D-Gen, bottom of the fucking barrel. Then we came back to Bali, like mid-tier. We were like doing okay. I think I was still working my marketing agency. I was doing like maybe like 6-7K a month. You were doing like 5K a month, I remember. And then we went to Bali and we locked into the villa. Shout out Kessler, shout out Lucas, shout out Isaac, shout out
That's it.
Cody Rippin.
Cody as well.
Cody Rippin.
My bad, Cody. Shout out Cody.
My first client. This is actually his camera. Cody, you're my first client. I love you.
Thanks, Cody.
Anyways, so we started creating content in Bali and my content was still doing well. Reed's content was still doing well. We were progressing. But we were coming to a point where we realized the value we were bringing to the table. And this is where it started to shift for us. And we started to realize the value we were giving to not people just in the community, but people that we were working one-to-one with. Reed and I started doing one-to-one personal branding coaching, helping people scale their personal brands. And as cliche as it sounds, the reality is before Reed and I blew up, we put so much time and effort into it that the simplest things people didn't even know. Content strategy, ideation, processing, layering content. People had no idea about this. And the reality is now that we got solidified by coaching inside the biggest creative community, doing almost $1 million a month with over 2,000 students, me and Reed were coaching inside that as the head coaches. I built out a module inside that community, which I got paid for. Reed was getting paid to be a CSM, so was I, to do coaching inside of it. And that is when we truly realized the value that we had.
Like we realized how powerful personal branding was in that moment. Of course, we'd realized it for ourselves, right? Because our lives were slowly on the move to being changed by, you know, making content and growing our own personal brands. But then we also realized the amount of people that wanted and needed, honestly, their personal brands to change their life as well. And then we also realized in coaching that we had the power to change people's lives. Like we genuinely getting on there on those coaching calls and doing everything we can, like scraping our brains of every bit of knowledge to help people to get them to their goals. And the reason we were the head coaches were because we could get people to those goals.
Yeah. And then I remember from there, we actually had a bit of like a situation where we joined partnership with Alfie in a duo offer where we were going to sell a low ticket product, it was the first time that we were leveraging it more of our audience. And we got to a point where we realized that working for Alfie was great. To be full honest, without Alfie, I wouldn't be anywhere in content.
Shout out Alfie.
Yeah, shout out Alfie.
Shout out Alfie also.
Pivotal guy in our career. But what he did do for us, which has been detrimental to our career, and at the time it was nerve-wracking, is he basically like let us go because he was changing the offer in a way and he wanted us to do more responsibility. And we didn't think it aligned with like what we wanted to do. And so we basically went off on our own. And I remember it was a very, very stressful time.
It was super scary.
It was super scary.
Like, we had like obviously our own office and stuff, but like nothing crazy. Like, it wasn't stable, and we were on retainers at the time. With Amplify, and obviously that made us feel super stable. It's like we can keep living this sort of life because it's guaranteed. We've got this coming in every month. Like, it's not like we had crazy brand deals or anything, but it came to the point where it didn't make sense for us all to work together anymore. So we had to go out on our own, and honestly, it was scary.
It was.
But
it was the first time in my life where I wasn't an employee. I wasn't an employee to someone else. Even though when I was younger, I owned a gardening business, I still was an employee at the ferry service. Like, it was the first time in my life where I was like, I'm solely operating off my own income. And I remember it was the biggest pivotal change in us because it forced us to work. And I remember we then went to this place called Uluwani.
Uluwani. Oh, man.
And it changed. I remember as soon as we dropped Alfie, we started picking up one-to-one clients. I remember for me personally, I had a crazy streak where I hit like a 15K month from straight away after we finished that. I signed a few in-person clients. I remember you were doing pretty well as well.
At the start, I was stressing out, but then I was like, the pressure of knowing you had to make it work and there was no one else to fall back on, that's what did it. And like we needed that pressure. We got super complacent having the retainer. We weren't putting as much effort into content. We're like, everything's chilling. And having that change made us realize that we need to dial in and there's so much more we need to be doing to succeed. And so we did.
Yeah.
And so we did.
I remember we were like helping each other, but at the time we were also like working against each other because like we were both doing our own brands, our own businesses. And as hard as it is, at the end of the day, until you work together on one business, one operation, the reality is like you're slightly working against each other. So what we did is we went to this place called Back to Uluwani. And this was the eternal fucking lock-in. Boys and girls,
it was fucked up.
If you're listening to this and you're wanting to know what an internal lock-in, this was it. What was the routine? Like how did it work?
So I think the wake up was like 5:30ish, 5 to 5:30ish.
Literally earlier than that.
And then I don't know if it was fasted cardio.
No, it was fasted cardio straight away.
Straight down. So it was the most dingy. It was the craziest like hotel gym ever. It's like the weirdest carpet, like weird. Like, I'm not even gonna get into it, but we head straight down to the worst, shadiest looking gym ever, and ripped like half an hour of treadmill and half. There was one treadmill, one exercise bike, and we like alternated for like 45 minutes, and that was how we started our day. Straight upstairs.
Shower. shower, content for like, I'm not even kidding, 3-4 hours. Breakfast was like egg whites and toast.
Coffee, egg whites and toast.
Straight back to the villa, and then now we were like trying to really hustle. So I remember I was getting a few clients. I remember you signed a few guys. You signed TRI. Shout out TRI.
Absolute goat, by the way.
Absolute goat. He's an employee of us now.
We've just brought Tyrone on as a coach. Genuinely one of the most talented and someone who's got the most potential, in all honesty, that I've seen so far with personal
his channel
branding
here. Shout
and
out.
making it big. He's going to be huge one day. You might watch this video. I know you've got it, and we're so happy to have you as part of the team.
Yeah,
anyway, I signed Tyrone as a one-on-one client, and in all honesty, at the time, I needed that one-on-one client because I wasn't cooking as much. So I put so much effort into making sure that I could bring someone in and get them to their goals. I've got my own testimonial for Tarai if you want to check it out. We had a wonderful experience working together, and that's why we're still together to this day.
Yeah. But hold on, I think we got to go a little bit back. Through that time, what also happened before we did this eternal lock-in and before we kind of started to realize, okay, we're making a bit of money from this, we caught up with Fin Kwong. Fin Kwong started this Only Earned. We were like the original people inside Only Earned. And we also held a run club. So we held our first overseas run club, or our first run club ever in Bali. We've Only Earned, ex-Reed, Seddon, ex-I am Jake Peters. And I remember that was a big change in us as well, because we did our first mastermind where we presented in front of a mastermind, and that really solidified our message. And that made me really realize, like, holy fuck, we have so much value to give, but also the power of surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals that are doing better than you completely changed our life. And we'll get into it in a second and why we went to Dubai. But that was like a key point.
That was key. It was the craziest moment, honestly, like craziest period of a few days in my life. It's like, after 6 months of creating content, we had a run club that we hosted together. I think like 50, 60 people or something showed up. Like one of the craziest turnouts, more than I ever thought. Like people from around the world, people that had seen our content before. It was genuinely a shock.
Yeah, they were coming up to us. It was crazy.
Like it was super, super strange, but like I loved every second of it. I love the social aspect of how content, even around the world, can bring people together. And then we obviously did our mastermind as well.
Yeah, that was great.
For Only Earned. Shout out all the Only Earned boys.
Shout out for Finn, because that was a huge
Finn and Noel for organizing everything.
They gave us like a great opportunity, great plan. And then we'll go back to Uluwani. So then we were in Uluwani, we were hustling. I think I managed to get myself a good client who gave me a couple referrals. So I remember I hit like, I think again that month, I hit like a 10K month. So I was like doing quite well in terms of the business. And this is how we've kind of always operated, me and you. But I wasn't doing that well in the content. My content started to slow down, and I started to like have to hustle the content a bit more. And then it got to a point where we were like, okay, and we got invited, and this is when Finn launched Only Earned, and Finn invited us to Dubai.
He did.
Now.
He did.
Yes. Oh, this.
I don't even want to wait before we get into it. I need to have my chicken.
Bro, no, I can't. We gotta rip this.
Oh,
I'm literally in the zone right now.
Fine.
We gotta rip this. So then we went to Dubai, and Dubai was a fucking crazy story because we got invited to Dubai, and to be full honest, me and Reed are not made for Dubai. We are not high rollers.
We're not Dubai
We're both
guys.
wearing Uniqlo shirt, Uniqlo pants.
I'm actually wearing the pants that I wore in my presentation in Dubai right now. These are baller
the
pants.
mic's down. Yeah, baller pants. Anyways, I wear a Garmin watch. Like, we're not made for Dubai, but we got invited. And the reason why I was tempted to go to Dubai was because, 1, for the aura, don't get me wrong. 2, for the personal branding experience. 3, for the mindset. Me and Reed now have gone to Bali the lowest. Then we're at the tier, and now we were kind of reaching the ceiling of Bali. The reality is everyone in Bali goes there to make it. And I'm not saying that we made it, but we both were the best at content, and we were definitely making more money than any single person we were hanging out with at the time. So the reality was, like, there was no one else to get us to that next level. No one that was pushing us except for ourselves. And I remember I was speaking to my dad, and I was like, fuck, Dad, do I go? Because the week was going to cost us like, what, 8K?
Yeah, the week set us back 8K. I'm not going to say set us back, because it was, again, we're going to tell you about probably one of the best experiences of my life, probably our lives, at least for everything.
And like I say, $10K, $10,000 is like, it's not that much at the time. And to anyone that's listening to this, $10,000 per month is an extremely large amount of money. And I think misconception online is that $10,000 isn't a large amount, but it is. And at the time for us, we didn't have enough money. We weren't swimming in coin. We were definitely doing well, but we weren't like swimming in it. So we decided to go to Dubai, and Dubai was fucking game changer.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
The mindset shift from going from peak top in Bali, when I mean top, like I don't mean to say that in a cringe way, just like we weren't surrounding ourselves with anyone that was pushing us to the bottom of the barrel. We met Prime Train, we met Keenan, we were hanging around with entrepreneurs doing hundreds of thousands of dollars per month, and it was a game changer. It was a game changer.
It was a game. For the mindset, if anything, like the mindset shifts that I took out of that place, like I still carry today. Like they are half the reason that we're in the position we are, literally because of the experience we had over in Dubai. It was so crazy.
And I think when I say it's a game changer, I want to like elaborate because we were around guys doing numbers that I've never even heard of before. There was a guy there doing $100,000 a month. And at the time, to me, someone who was making maybe 10 to 15K a month, the reality is that was insane. I didn't think that was possible. And to see that we were also giving value to them was a huge indicator to me because they were coming to us for personal branding. We held a personal branding mastermind in Dubai in front of these 7-figure entrepreneurs. It was insane. We stayed in penthouses, we drive Lambos, we drive jet skis.
Dune buggies in the desert. It was like, a crazy
It was fucked. And then what also happened in Dubai was it was my birthday. I was 21 and I remember it was the first time I was working online. We woke up, we went for a run club, we held a run club in Dubai.
We did.
We did the mastermind, we went on the yacht, we went on the jet skis, and I remember I also closed a client that day. And I remember I was sitting in Dubai and I was just like, this is fucking peak.
Peak life.
I was like on the yacht at the end of the night. It was like 10 p.m. I was just sitting there solo. I was just like, saw I got some money. And I know money isn't everything, but to me at the time, it was insane. And I remember just being like, I have heat on my 21st birthday.
We talk about this all the time. Like just we're having peak life moments. Like we're so fortunate to be having these all the time. And you got to take these risks to get in this sort of situation. Like every time I catch myself saying like, oh, this is peak life, I don't even realize how like amazing it is to be able to say that as often as we do.
Yeah.
And, like I remember being in Dubai and thinking the same thing. There's not many better 21st birthdays you can have than the one that Jake had. It was wild. It was wild.
And then that was kind of like the go. And then we came back and it was November last year. We came back on like the 20th of November and it was on.
Yeah, it was just straight to biz.
And we just pushed our own one-to-one offers, which over Christmas time, we were hustling. We were doing well. Like
yeah, it was a good period.
You were picking up in the business. My content was picking up. Like it was a good period over the Christmas period.
Just as a note, we have this running theme that just like always, like I don't know why it always happens. It's like the content and the business can never be doing good at the same time. It's like it's only the business
except
or the
for
content.
this month.
Except for this month. This is the first month that everything, like all for like Jake's content, the business, my content, the business, all aligned finally. And like let me tell you, there's not many better things because literally my whole time in doing this, my whole experience of building my personal brand, doing online business, they never are doing good at the same time. I don't know how that works. Like always something stressing you out. This is the first month that I'm just like, all right, they're both in a good place. Let's see how long I can keep it here.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And then I remember, so then what happened is over Christmas, we were like fully aligned now. We spent, like when I had been in Bali, we literally lived together 24/7, slept in the same bed to save money.
Yeah, it was crazy.
We literally lived together. So by now we were like completely friends. Now, when we were in Bali, we had this idea to start up this business called Done For You, and it was an agency. And to this day, we're still operating this. We have a few clients on it, but the reality is it was a great pivotal point for us to really start working together. But what was huge was January the 16th, because that was the week that me and Reed fully combined all of our businesses. Because over the December and January period, we were still working solo, but we were still working on the Done For You together. And it was great. We signed a client on that straight away in the first month that having the business. That was an amazing feeling. We were both doing quite consistent, but what was still stopping us was we were still bringing in the one-to-one, and we were still coaching people one-to-one and growing their personal brands, helping them scale and helping them monetize. And I remember I was watching this video and I remember I was sitting at home and I was like, we need to start building an ecosystem. We need to build a business where we have multiple offers and not just the one offer. Because the reality is we want to scale this thing, we need to work as a team on everything. And we were still, like I mentioned before, we were still two people working together on one thing, but there was still an aspect on the end that we were working separately. And I remember I called Reed on January the 14th, and I was like, I think we need to join our one-to-one offer, our agency, and our community.
Just bring everything together.
Everything together.
Because like, we low-key, not even low-key, we've been competing technically for like the last 4 months ever since we left.
Year, basically.
Like, the whole time we've been competing because we run the same off, we have the same skills, so we have the same client base. and we make similar content. So the whole thing is just us every day pushing each other because we're like, we have to, we have to win. Like we have to, like not in a terribly like I want to be better than you way, but more just a motivating like, okay, I need to do work. I'm seeing what he's achieving. I now need to achieve the same thing, if not more. And that rose the level so much. So in a way, combining our offers was probably one of the most relieving things at the same time, because like now all of our combined efforts are going towards one thing. Spoiler alert, best decision we ever made to combine our offers.
Best decision ever made. And I think that was an insane, I would say, like life learning for me personally, thinking that I was this solo entrepreneur, I could get myself anywhere in the world, to now, I remember from the 16th of January to the end of January, we did 21K.
It was good.
Then the next month, we did 30K. And don't get me wrong, I was still doing a bit of my own one-to-one. You were still doing a bit of one-to-one.
This is when we were slowly phasing out people we already had.
So all together, we would do 40K. Now, this is the first month of us having everything together. We are on track to do 100K. And I'm not sitting here to say that me and Reed are rolling in cash. I'm not sitting here to say that me and Reed are ballers. But the reality is we have built in 3 months on track to build a 100K per month business through solely bringing our operation together, and instead of working on 2 separate goals, working on 1 goal together. During this period, we also identified that I'm extremely strong on the business side, Reed is extremely strong on the content side, and we both aligned that role to each other. That doesn't mean we both don't overlap. That doesn't mean Reed isn't good at business, I'm good at content. We're both extremely well, but it allowed us to create a made you watch, done for you ecosystem, where now our businesses, we have our agency, which is a done for you offer. We have our Done With You, that is the name of it, and that is where we scale and help people, personal brands, high ticket one-to-one, where you work directly with Reed and I. Reed as the creative strategist, growing your personal brand. Me as the business growth operator, growing your business for you. And then we have our community, our Made You Watch community, and that is where we help people grow and scale their personal brands. That is where TRI, our coach, we have just brought in, shout out T, and that is where we scale and help you through our community with one-to-one calls through there. And ever since that, it has been fucking insane.
It has been an insane reception, both in terms of client results, our satisfaction, and just growth of the business and brand overall. Like probably one of the best decisions we've ever made. And it's like that sole reason, the combining of the offers and all that work, is to why we are on track for 100K and why we're here right now in this crazy crib in the Gold Coast.
And I think that's another thing as well. It's like we kept realizing that we need to be together. So we're like, okay, we're going to book a really nice place in Gold Coast. We're here right now. We decided, okay, we're going to lock in, and it is the 20th of the month, and we are already like surpassed what we exceeded. We're on track to hit 100K. There's no doubt in my mind we're not going to hit it. And the reality is like it's just been such a big compounding effect to all now just kind of come together. Where now we work on a mission every single day. We have goals, we have jobs, we have a responsibility. It is a full operation. We now have employees. We now have rev share in people's businesses. Yeah, it's a
lot.
It's a lot.
It's been moving so fast. Like every month for the past 6 months has just been the most monumental jump. And like I know it will continue for the rest of the year. I wouldn't want it any other way. Like I know we both want to be just thrown the craziest challenges to see how we can overcome them. We've already overcome some crazy ones, and I know there's going to be heaps more in the future. There's a lot more work to do, but honestly, it's been a crazy journey. I'm super grateful for where we're at now, and obviously where we want to go. Like the travel opportunities, the network, like the money, the people, the places, the experiences, it's all just getting started. And obviously I hope we can bring as many of you guys with us on this journey as possible.
And I think also that with a lot of people with Reed and I, they think they see our content, they see our lifestyle. And the reality is we're creating content because we genuinely love it as well. But I think a lot of under people, and that is okay, and I don't expect people to do it, but a lot of people don't actually know the extent to me and Reed. We have been creating content for 365 days, but we have only been in business for 6 months, and we've already scaled it to 100K a month. And the reason this is is because Reed and I are actually the best in the info space. No one knows this yet, that me and Reed are literally going to own the info space. I'm 21, Reed's 24. The reality is you are not seeing any single other 21-year-old, 24-year-old in Australia scaling it in this duration of time. There is not a single other person out there. Yes, there's guys 26, 27, 21, but they've been in the game for 3-4 years. Me and Reed have been in this game less than a fucking year. And the only reason why I'm so strong on this is the reality is like, we are not just in this to be influencers. We are in this to be business owners. Me and Reed are going to build the best agency in Australia. Mark my words. And the reason now is now we're just getting into other avenues. Like we launched our retreat from the 2nd to the 7th of next month. At the end of this month, we're flying to Bali. We're hosting a retreat with 10 guys already. Then we're going to Europe for 3 months. Like we're only just getting started. Now, I'm not saying this to be cocky. I'm not saying this to be arrogant, but I think if you are wanting to grow your brand, if you are wanting to scale online and you are in Australia or you are overseas in the USA and you want a bit of guidance, reach out to us. I'll leave my link below. This isn't a plug to get you on a sales calls. This is for me to genuinely show you that anything's possible.
Because we knew at one time, like even I knew back in the day that this was possible. This life was possible. I saw other people, I saw the people I looked up to achieving and living these crazy lives. And instead of just sitting there and convincing myself it wasn't for me, I found out how to make it possible. I reached out and found out how to achieve and start building my dream life. And then I started. That was it. I had the ambition. I needed the knowledge. Once I got that, I worked at it every single day. I've posted every single day since I've had my personal brand. I think I've had my account now for just over a year, or like just a year. I have never missed a single day of posting, never missed a single day of working my business, and that's why I'm here. We have all of the knowledge that anyone would need to grow their personal brand and change their life.
And I think it's important to remember as me and Reed have got helped on content, but we have never had a mentor in anything else.
No.
And so the reality is me and Reed are just, like I said, going to shape the way that this game happens, and I'm super proud of us. It's freaking sick to see.
We're just getting started.
We're just getting started. What's coming up next, though? What's the next phase?
What's next?
Like, what are we going towards?
We've got Europe. We've got consistent 100K months. We're
thinking
Dubai.
about moving because we're fucking paying a lot of tax. But anyways, I want you guys to tune into this because this has been crazy. We wanted to come down and sit down and just kind of explain our situation.
A bit about our stories.
We get so many fucking questions, and like it's good to also show, because I did when I first starting out, I was trying to consume as much content as possible. So all we are here to help, because we are no different to you. Literally, everyone says this online, but as cliche as it sounds, I went to UTS, no different to you. Reality is we're just actually putting something towards it every single day.
No one is special. Start creating content, document your life, and then change it.